Hello and thank you for joining us today. My name is Wesley Boudreau, one of the ExxonMobil focused advisors here at the Retirement Group. Today I'm going to give you a really quick interest rate update and how it pertains to the ExxonMobil pension lump sum calculations for both the first quarter and the second quarter of 2023. The Fed just released the interest rates yesterday for December, so now we have that ability to calculate out what the second quarter is going to look like, and we'll go through that in just a moment. But a quick reminder for those of you who do not know who the Retirement Group is. Again, we are an independent financial advisory firm that focuses on working with corporate employees and help them transition to retirement. We've been doing this for about 30 years with a bunch of different companies, and ExxonMobil has been one of the companies we've done a lot of work with. However, we are not endorsed by nor employed by ExxonMobil, but having this extensive background gives us a full knowledge of your company benefits, plans, inside and out, whether it be the pension we'll talk about today, whether it be the 401k, healthcare retiree, medical benefits, life insurance benefits, things like that. So should you have any questions, feel free to reach out and give us a call. We'll be happy to dig into that. And we do have offices throughout the country, so rest assured if you need to sit down with somebody face-to-face, we can probably still accommodate that. But obviously this day and age, it's very easy to have web meetings, phone calls, email, whatever your preferred communication is. Just let us know. If there's anything to take us up on at the end of the day, and if you haven't done one in the last year or so, if you've done one before, it's probably good to update it, but it's to run our complimentary cash flow analysis. This is truly a detailed financial plan specific to the ExxonMobil pension plan and 401k to determine, are you on the right path to retire when you want to? We can run through various scenarios to let you determine when's the right day to retire. Should I take the pension as a lump sum or an annuity? Should I split it? Because you have that option now as well. Whether you want to retire sooner rather than later. We'll go through all those different options and tell you how it looks, not just now, but how it looks in 10, 20, 30 years down the road as well. So getting into the interest rates, that's what everybody's here for today, to kind of get an update of what those are. Before I get started, I just want a quick reminder how the ExxonMobil pension plan works. It is a classic defined benefit plan, in which case there's a formula looking at your years of service, final average pay, a multiplier, and a Social Security offset to determine what your single life annuity is going to be for the rest of your life. From there, you can actually have other selections, whether you want to do a joint survivor, a period certain, or a lump sum, and that's what we're talking about today. As far as a lump sum, what's going to happen is they take a look at your single life annuity, look at your age, and look at longevity to figure out how many more years they're on the hook to potentially pay you, and then look at the interest rates in order to do a net present value calculation to determine how much do they have to give you for you to essentially go out there and recreate that same paycheck for yourself. So we take a look at this seesaw here, excuse me, on the top of the screen. What happens is the interest rates have an inverse relation to your lump sum. So when interest rates go down, you're going to see your lump sum come up. And we saw that happen quite a bit during the pandemic when the government drove down interest rates. We saw some of the highest ExxonMobil lump sums we've ever seen. Now the flip side's happening. In 2022, we saw the severe increase in interest rates with inflationary pressure. So we've seen the opposite, where the interest rates went up and that drove down the lump sums and drove them down quite severely. And we'll get into some of those in just a moment. Now the interest rates are a little bit different depending upon who you are. If you are grandfathered, that's somebody who by the end of last year, 2022, was 65 with 25 years of service, you're using the GAT rate, which is actually an interest rate tied to the 30-year Treasury. ExxonMobil takes a look at the average of the prior quarter and multiplies it by 95% on the 30-year Treasury to get that number. So if we look at this right now on that right-hand side, the interest rate for this quarter, for the first quarter of 2023, is going to be 3% for the GAT rate for those who are grandfathered, and it's jumping up to 3.75% for the second quarter. So if there's anybody still out there that's over 65 and working and was thinking about retiring and taking the lump sum, it's definitely something to review right now. We've seen that rise over the last year as well, and I'll get into the how much that's risen as well. Now, if you're not grandfathered, which most of you are not, then you're going to be looking at what's called the PPA segment rates, the Pension Protection Act segment rates. Those are going to be the first, second, and third segment. The first segment covers the first 5 years of retirement. The second segment is going to be for years 6 through 20. And the third segment is going to be for years 21 and beyond. So for most of us, that second segment is going to have the highest weighting because it covers 15 years of retirement. But depending upon your age, the older you are, the less weighting the third segment is going to have. The younger you are, the more weighting that's going to have. But for most purposes, if we want to focus on interest rate changes and how they're affecting you, if we take a look at that second segment, that's going to have the highest weight. So what Exxon does is they actually go back and they look at the average of the last 2 months of the prior quarter to determine what that is. So like I said, we just got the December rates. So now we can look at the November and December rates to determine what the interest rates will be for the second quarter of 2023. So let me go ahead and zoom in here so it's a little bit easier for everybody to see. If we take a look at this, those first two white lines are going to be the December, November rates. But if we look at the first two blue lines, that's going to be the second quarter and the first quarter of this year. So let me go down to the second one first, which is Q1 2023. The first segment is going to be 4.14%, then 4.94 for the second segment, and 4.88 for the third segment. Now they're jumping a bit in second quarter, going up to 4.97, 5.38, and 5.13. So if we look at that, we're looking at a little bit over 40 basis point jump in the second segment from Q1 to Q2. Usually that's going to equate to about a 4% drop potentially in your lump sum depending upon your age. The quick rule of thumb is usually a 1% change in interest rates is going to equate to about an 8 to a 12% change in your lump sum depending upon your age. So let's just keep in mind 1% equals 10%. So that 40 basis points or so is going to equate to about a 4% drop in your lump sum if you're thinking about retiring. If you just retired, you're thinking about commencing your benefits. Now, I do know there's a couple different plants that were in the process of being sold off, and those decisions need to be made. Another thing to keep in mind is there is the age penalty if you're under 60 years old, whereas ExxonMobil reduces your pension by 5% each year. So even though the interest rates are moving and it's going to drop your lump sum, your age penalty, as far as if you hang on and age out of that, may offset that. So it's something that's important to review. If you're thinking about retiring or thinking about pulling the trigger first quarter or second quarter, and you've got age penalties, it's important to give us a call, and we'll keep you updated once the January rates come out to see how that trend is going. Because we look at these interest rates, they've actually trended down the last 2 months. We saw a big spike in September, October, then it came back down November, December. We'll see how the next coming months go forward, and hopefully we'll see those interest rates come down. But we look at the very bottom of that screen, and we look at Q1 to 2022, so where we were last year. Look at that second segment, it was 2.53. Now we're up to that 5.38. So we're almost about almost 3 percentage points higher. That's about a 30% drop in lump sums we've seen over the last year. And on the grandfathered individuals too, that was 1.75 up to 3.75, so a 3% change. So again, some major shifts, major changes here. And keep in mind, again, this is only affecting the lump sum. And keep in mind, with ExxonMobil, we have the ability to do a combination, whether you want to do 50-50 lump sum and annuity, or 75-25, however you want to break it down. So all that information is something that we can go through with you one-on-one. And the best way to do so is to run that cash flow analysis I talked about at the beginning. Right now, about 3/4 of Americans over 50 don't even have a written plan. If you can spend about 10 minutes with us, give us about a week, we'll put together a very detailed plan to show you exactly where you stand. We'll be happy to run multiple scenarios, multiple retirement dates, whether you want to look at taking the pension as a lump sum versus the annuity, and how those things play out over the next 20, 30 years, so you know what the best option is, not just for yourself, but your family as well. And then keep in mind, it's important to get this updated periodically. So like I said, if you ran one with us last year that we just showed you, obviously interest rates have changed, so there's probably a big change to your lump sum calculation if you're looking at that. And there's probably been a change to your 401k as well. So any questions, always just give us a call at 1-800-900-5867. We'll be more than happy to help you out. You can also reach that info@theretirementgroup.com. If you'd like to schedule an appointment with myself or one of the other ExxonMobil focused advisors, you can use your cell phone. We got a couple QR codes here on the screen. There's one to schedule an appointment. You can get into our appointment counter, but if you need to talk with myself or one of the others earlier, go ahead and give us a call directly. Also, there's that QR code for the LinkedIn page. If you want to stay updated on the ExxonMobil specific information we have, items like the interest rate updates we're doing right now, changes to the company plans, other webinars we provide, go ahead and use that QR code as well. But like I said before, we've been working extensively with ExxonMobil. We've got a great understanding of the benefits plans. We'll be happy to help you out. But at the end of the day, again, we are not employed by nor are we endorsed by ExxonMobil. But should you have any questions, feel free just to call us at 1-800-900-5867. Thank you very much. We hope you have a great day.